Here's Jeff Marek, the host of the Sheet Dailies on the Nation.
I can't tell you the last time I heard someone say dolt. That's a great one. For ending on the hard
and
T,
with an electric vehicle too. I mean, just hand in glove, Jeff.
Oh, Matt,
how you doing, buddy? It's been so long.
And they say this country has no poets, ladies and gentlemen, without a net. Blake Frost.
Poet laureate of British Columbia.
I'll grow my hair out to a bob.
He'll be at events with the lieutenant governor coming up.
That's great. Good to see you again, guys.
Yeah, good to see you. We missed you last week. You were so busy with trade deadlines.
Can I lob something? Speaking of trade deadlines, so I was in Buffalo on Tuesday for the Sabres San Jose Sharks game, and you know what one of the conversations around Popcorn Row was? Never doing trade deadline on a Friday again.
Yeah.
Because of paperwork and because Logan Stanley's still hadn't been completed, when he got traded, Bobby McMahon with, Seattle and Vancouver's facing off against the Kraken here. Like, don't do trade deadline when government offices are closed. So paperwork can't start to get done for players that go over the border until at the earliest even getting the ball rolling on Monday.
That's a good shout. They should go Thursday, or even earlier in the week.
Wednesday.
Yep, not
Tuesday,
the worst idea.
Wednesday, Thursday. Just don't do it on a Friday.
What did you make of the Canucks deadline? It's our first chance to talk to you since the Garland trade at the very least, and the others.
Okay, I mean, no home runs, but some good business. Done by the Vancouver Canucks. Garland for a second and third, and they get the cap space, so don't have to ever pay a dime of that new contract of his. Tyler Myers, the team's hands were a little bit tied here. I think they made the best of a difficult situation. Kampf, Reichel, like small moves here. Like we still know that there's some heavy lifting to do. What I did admire about what Vancouver did is they didn't try to do it all at once. Like we know there's still some business here to take care of for the Canucks, and they didn't rush into anything just because they knew that this was the direction the team was going. Kind of like where St. Louis with Robert Thomas, right? And who knows now? Like that top line in St. Louis now is one of the best lines in the NHL over the past couple of weeks. But if you're going to make a major move, don't make it at deadline when you can only make it with a few teams. Let the field open. So one of the things that I did sort of admire here from Vancouver's point of view, if they're going to make deep cuts here, they're waiting until the field is open. So the draft or sometime in the summer. Don't just rush it.
They're playing out the rest of the string here, and it's sort of open auditions as to who wants to stay. It sort of feels like a litmus test of who's in, who's out. And Adam Foote doubled down on it after the game. He said it before the game or after practice 2 days ago. And then doubled down again. And he said it's just different right now, and it sounds like the deadwood, the bad attitudes have mostly left. And Jake DeBrusk isn't a bad attitude by any stretch, but everybody's looking better right now. Like everybody, Brock Besser's looking better. Marco Rossi's finally found some scoring. Liam Ogren, like everybody's looking better right now, except for Jake DeBrusk. And I wonder if just the fit isn't there. If there's one more veteran to come off the books. And he should be eminently movable at 5.5.
Hold on.
Is he not the guy?
Sorry, go ahead, Matty. You were going to say?
Yeah. What's your problem?
Overdrive did a 10-minute segment on Elias Pettersson to Toronto this week. I'm just saying, Jeff. If you all want EP40, I think we can make a deal.
I don't know that Toronto would be the best possible destination. I would think that he might want an environment.
Columbus.
A little bit quieter.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit for the next market if he ends up moving.
Greensboro. He'd be good in Greensboro with the minor league Kings.
The Growlers.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, like I think we talked about this the other week. Like the team that I do sort of still wonder about because it would be such a Kyle Dubas style move here, the Pittsburgh Penguins. If indeed this thing gets done. Like listen, Rutherford Alvin not shy about trading with their old squad in Pittsburgh.
You're talking Pettersson here,
yeah. We're talking Elias Pettersson here. That's the one market that I've always wondered about. And we know that Kyle Dubas, and I know all managers are like this to some extent. Maybe Glenn Sather was the most prominent example of this. But if you look at the way that Kyle Dubas has gone about constructing the Pittsburgh Penguins, outside of the biggies that were there before him, he loves the reclamation project. And all general managers are looking for their own face card, right? Like that's always the one thing that I wonder with managers whenever someone takes on a new job, like how long does it take them to get their face card? Some guys never do, right? It's not easy to get your face card. And right now this is still in Crosby and Malkin specifically. When does Dubas make the move to get his face card? And could that be the reclamation project of Elias Pettersson? Don't know. I mean, it's a talk radio, talk podcast type conversation, but that is one that always sort of made sense to me.
Well, and if Pettersson can't get his butt going with Sidney Crosby laying out the example of how to work, I don't know that it's possible.
I mean, listen,
I didn't mean to hijack the DeBrusk question. It should be said. I'm sorry.
We'll get back to it in a second. Yes.
We'll go back to DeBrusk. One final thing on that too, about the Pittsburgh Penguins and Sidney Crosby, because I think it's a great point by Blake too. I had Dubas on before the season started last year, and I asked, are you in sort of, accelerated development mode here because you want to get as many young kids in the room as quickly as you can to sort of get the rub of being around Sidney Crosby? And he said, no, development, we're going to take our time. I have a hard time believing that if any team other than the Pittsburgh Penguins drafted Ben Kindle, and no knock on the kid, he's an excellent hockey player, I don't know that Ben Kindle is playing a full season in the NHL unless it's around Sidney Crosby. And Crosby has had that profound an effect on that player. And I think if you are in the Pittsburgh Penguins, you want to get as many of your kids in the room around Crosby, so you understand like the work rate that is being set here by one of the best players to ever do it. Anyway, DeBrusk, it's a tough fit. Like it does look like a tough fit here. Blake, I think you're right. With that price tag, I don't think he would be a difficult one to move. But yeah, that one looks like it's not headed to a place where where we see Jake continuing to ply his trade in Vancouver, but we'll see.
Do you like Liam Mogren? Do you think there's a player there?
I do like Liam Mogren. I don't know that I see Liam Mogren as a first line player, but as a second line winger, yes, I do like Liam Mogren, and there's more opportunity here for him, obviously. So yes, I do see him as a
finding
top
some
six
confidence
piece for the
too.
Vancouver Canucks. I'm sorry.
Finding some confidence too, right? Like he was sort of left for dead a little bit there with Minnesota, and he's getting some opportunity.
Well, it's a tough
so
winger lineup to break in Minnesota, and he's getting more opportunity here. And the physical tools jump out, so that part is great. Did you hear we may be getting a practice facility here?
Oh no, really? It didn't really make headlines much of that.
Yeah.
Thanks for our friend Irfan Ghaffar. Yeah.
Yes. I almost feel like this is like saying to someone, "Did you hear we're getting a flush toilet?"
Did you hear we're getting color TV?
Yeah, exactly. We watch black and white TV and we go to the outhouse. But now we're getting flush toilets and color TVs here in Vancouver.
I get it. That's an easy pinata swing. I understand it. I'm just glad, and we'll see. You guys are a lot closer to it than I am. You guys, know the area obviously a lot better than I do. You more of an authority on that area and the potential for all this coming together. Good. This is going to be a good news story for the Vancouver Canucks, albeit quite late in the game, and it probably shouldn't have taken this long. This is like, in industry standard. Like the thing that I always wonder about too is, are you going to award a franchise to any team that doesn't have a practice facility? No. It seems like, this is what you have to do in order to be at NHL standard. This is like, having hot towels and tape for teams. Just glad that Vancouver is now finally getting there. Should make recruiting that much easier, and we don't have to make a whole lot when coaches like Rick Tocchet open up first press conferences with "I love our practice facility."
Yes.
So glad that it's getting.
And especially because you might be adding Gavin McKenna here in June, and you want sort of those big. I mean, you're going to be in a position to add a lot of good young players here, right? And especially if they come from the NCAA, they have amazing facilities at some of these big schools, especially the ones that have big-time football programs like Penn State. So,
they've invested a lot in that hockey program. So it probably
Pegula's invested a lot in the hockey program. The school's invested a lot in the whole athletic facility because of how big a driver the football team is. Stenberg's gone a little quiet here. Are you hearing? Do you think it's absolutely McKenna at number 1 overall now?
That seems to be consensus now. He's had a wonderful second half of his season. Make no mistake about it. Just past the 50-point threshold in that game Wednesday against Minnesota. It seems like while he doesn't look like that same guy that we saw just dominating the league in Medicine Hat, he looks a lot more like himself. Like the play, albeit like a lot of it is again from the outside. He'll probably drive, coaches crazy about, being, this guy's too perimeter. But like when you're that perimeter and you're making plays at Penn State, like Patrick Kane, like the hands are elite, the vision is elite, the playmaking is elite. Is he ever going to be the drive to the net hard guy? Probably not. But when you have vision like that and hands like that and creativity like that, like I got to give it to the kid. Like, honestly, it would have been really easy for Gavin McKenna to stay in Medicine Hat and completely dominate the Western League and set records and erase any conversation about who's going to go first overall. Now, I know there's a financial interest in this as well, too. Like, let's not kid ourselves. But at the same time, in a very sensitive year in his career, his draft season, he put himself in a position where he was going to be challenged significantly and struggled. Like, when was the last time you saw, you would ever think that Gavin McKenna was going to be on the first unit power play? When was the last time you saw, Gavin McKenna is not going to be on your first line? Well, guess what? That happened at Penn State. Right? And it's only been this sort of second half of the season that it's all clicked together. Generally, and you talk to any agent, they'll say in the draft year, you want the kid to be as comfortable as possible. I remember having a conversation with the then org group, then Wasserman, now the team, about Noah Hannafin in his draft year. Now, the Quebec Ramparts, Patrick Roy, going to the Memorial Cup they're hosting, and Noah Hannafin was drafted by his draft rights were held by the Quebec Ramparts. And I asked about that. Like, is there any chance that Hannafin goes? Like, going to go on like an amazing run here with a stacked team? And would have been, I think it was Dave Gagne, or it might have been actually Jeff Jackson, who was the agent at that point, who said, like, look, the draft year is so sensitive. We want everything to be as possible. We just wanted to focus on hockey. It would be really challenging for him, A, to leave home, B, go to another country, C, go to a province and a city that is predominantly, the language is predominantly French, in a completely different environment where he doesn't know anybody. We need him to be as comfortable as possible in his draft year. And I feel that agents feel the same way about all their players. You want to be as comfortable as you can, so you just focus on hockey. This kid didn't do that.
Yep.
This kid went into and he went in and he played against tougher competition. Keaton Verhoff the same way with Nodak, but went in tougher competition, bigger guys, older players, all of that to challenge himself. And so he hasn't put up the gaudy points that he would in Medicine Hat, but I applaud his decision.
You're spot on, Jeff, and you're seeing this in other sports too. Like some of these high school basketball studs are going into the G League and pro and challenging themselves against men before they go to the draft, as opposed to just going to an NCAA.
Let me ask an existential question. Has NCAA hockey become better than the Swiss, German, and Swedish leagues?
Oh, boy.
Like, you don't have the crafty 30-year-olds.
We'd have to see.
You don't have the crafty 30-year-olds, but you could make the argument that the fourth line might be better.
It's bad. Short answer, no.
No.
Because you're still dealing with professionals and
the Spengler was a bit of a litmus test, right? Those kids went over and made it to the final and beat teams.
They did. They did that. It was a great story.
Team, but it wasn't an all-star. It wasn't a best on best. It wasn't a best team. Those are all mostly undrafted free agents.
I mean, it was still a higher tier of NCAA player that went there.
It was a higher
right?
tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Honestly,
close.
I have no
Short
idea
answer-
because I don't see any German.
Short answer, probably not.
I think that's
But
probably
make
true.
no mistake about it. At the older level, this is the strongest that the NCAA has ever been, and at the younger level, this is the strongest that the CHL has ever been.
What I'm saying is that we always used to give guys like Stenberg additional, rightly so. Hey, they're playing against men. They're playing against pros.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we have to start to give a 75 percentile kudos to the guys that are playing NCAA.
And especially when you look at the age of some of these college free agents who are signing, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a kid who's turning 25 in November. Like that's a man.
And some of them are making money,
But you
so
know
they
he's
are
a
kind of pro
developed
too.
at that point.
Okay, can I bring something up here? Like we all think this is like a new phenomenon, but you guys will remember when the Oilers were riding high in the 80s and Calgary was good but not great, and they didn't have time for their prospects to develop. What did they do? You know, led by Badger Bob Johnson here in Wisconsin, they went out and signed college free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they're like, we can't wait. We need guys right now. We need like 24, 25-year-old guys that have played hockey and are physically mature, so we can stick, you know, Joel Otto at the dot against Mark Messier. Like this isn't necessarily new. I know it's a big deal, and rightfully so, but the Calgary Flames are doing this in the 80s. Like that's how they stayed competitive. They had a really good base of their team, and then they complemented it all with college free agents. So it's not really new. It's just kind of cool now, and all the teams are doing it. But Calgary was the sort of first to really get on this train significantly.
Joel Otto is a loaded phrase in this town, Marek,
Yes.
just so you are
I
aware.
realize that.
Yeah.
I know.
Speaking of college free agents, you know a little bit about TJ Hughes, the Michigan centerman. What can you tell us?
So here's my interest in, and I know that Edmonton was in to see Michigan the other day and have an eyeball certainly at TJ Hughes. But so TJ Hughes, for those that don't know, classic, you know, late bloomer, plays with the University of Michigan. Someone will sign TJ Hughes. And the interesting thing about Hughes, and like, look, that program has been excellent. Like Brandon Naurato, we looked at this team this year, Brandon Naurato's team in Michigan, and said, you know what, maybe next year this is going to be a really young team. And they've been, you know, at times undisputably like the best team in college hockey. Normally when you sign college players, you're not getting offensively gifted college players. Forwards, I'm talking about specifically.
Yeah.
Not so much with TJ Hughes. Like with TJ Hughes, you're getting someone that is offensively gifted and can walk in and start to produce. I don't know that he starts to produce at the NHL level right away, but unlike a lot of the other college free agents that we all fall over ourselves about at this time of year, Hughes scores, right? Like that's what makes him so attractive to a lot of teams. You're getting an offensive side to this kid that you're not getting with other college free agents in this class or previous classes as well.
Tyson it's funny you say that because last week we talked to Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects about this college free agent class, and I was pushing Jordan Gross, who just signed with the Flames.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm about TJ Hughes because TJ Hughes could actually handle the puck and do things at the NHL level on the offensive side of things, whereas Gross's ceiling is limited somewhat. Lastly, before our Easter egg, and our Easter egg does dovetail with college free agents. Give you a little hint there.
Okay.
We've been talking about this since the gold medal games, and there were some very good ratings for ESPN this week on regular season NHL games, coming off the two thrilling Olympic gold medal overtime games, the success of heated rivalry. You got young stars showing themselves in the NHL. Frankly, as I watch hockey, and I was telling Blake, that Habs Senators game the other night was just awesome. The Sharks Bruins game last night was pretty darn good too. I watched some of that. I'm not sure the NHL has ever been better in terms of a speed and can handle the puck point of view, right? Anyways, it's hockey's moment. Over to you, Gary. Time to market. Maybe we can finally grow the game before we peace out and into retirement, right?
Okay, so you know what's interesting about all of it? First of all, yes, a lot of eyeballs on it right now. And on the women's side of the puck, too, I know that they were trending towards a sellout anyhow and already selling a lot of tickets. But anytime you pack MSG, like, that's a story. Like that really is a significant story. There is a real momentum. I mean, Haley Skamura this past week was on with Pink. Haley Skamura last night at the Buffalo Washington game was banging the drum. Like I know, like her dad who played with the Caps, like that's where they grew up just outside of Buffalo too. So there's a local flavor to it. But there is a momentum here that has been captured, as we all suspected. I think the three of us sat together before the Olympics and said, it may pain us as Canadians to say this, but as far as like growth of the game goes and raising national interest, America's got to start winning some of these things, right? Like I always like to make the joke, oh, I'm happy you guys won a hockey game and don't have to call it a miracle, ha ha ha. But like they needed to win. Like US needed to start winning some of these things because, the Miracle on Ice begat that Modano and Leclerc and Kachuk and that whole group that turned into later Patrick Kane, et cetera, and you wonder how this is going to capture the attention of people that want to start to pick up hockey sticks, both at the men's and the women's side. That's what winning double gold will be. But having said all that, what's big? The big momentum mover this week that everybody is talking about? Tampa Buffalo. It was an 8-7 score, and the game was ripped out of the pages of 1987. Now,
and if it was just 8-7, Jeff, I would say bravo. But I wonder how much the fisticuffs in that game. Like, we've got to get away from hockey as punchline in the United States, no pun intended. We have to get away from hockey, went to the what's the old line? Went to boxing and hockey.
I went to the fights and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we can't market the sport that way in the NHL. Number one, you don't have fighters anymore, so you're going to disappoint the audience because you just don't see fighting as often. But number two, like they used to call it the fastest game on earth. It has the fewest whistles, or it can have the fewest stoppages in play. The fastest game on earth with the most free flow needs to sell that, and not the sideshows of people punching each other at the end of a lopsided game, or even the spirit of battle fights that we saw in Tampa.
That was a close game. That was a game with comebacks. That was
Huge
a game
comebacks.
where all the fights were spontaneous, right? Like there was reason behind all of them. There wasn't the fade back to center ice, let's go real slow and get the gloves off, almost like we're doing a striptease, and here come the elbow pads too, and make sure the fighting strap is on, and sticks are away and gloves are away. Even though the linesman has had 30 seconds to break these two guys up, they're not going to do it because this is the spotlight at center ice. That's gone. And in that Tampa Buffalo game, everything was reactive based on the play. And I don't know any business models out there that fail based on, we overrated the audience's, desire to watch violence. And at the end of the day, like, this is a violent game. Now, I'm like you, like, I don't want this every single game, all game long. I like the fact that the NHL has gone above and beyond to make sure and to limit their games to about 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's taken a while, but they got there. Like that's a good time for a game. Like that's good. I can invest that as a fan throughout the week. I can do that. But having said that, I know that there's a lot of reasons why the NHL has tried to lean away from it. And I think some of the headlines that you talk about, Matt, are some of the ones, going back to the 70s when half the league should have been incarcerated. And some of the brawls between Edmonton and Calgary and the Rangers and the Islanders, et cetera, that took 4 hours to play. But right now it seems as if there's, should I say, like, this porridge is too hot, this porridge is too cold, this porridge is just right for the level of fighting that's not staged, remembering that at the end of the day, this is a violent game played by really tough people.
Absolutely. And I think you're right on so many things there. We always talk about the Le Cavalier again left for fight, right, from the Stanley Cup final. Just, two superstars who were sick of each other's face. If the spirit of the battle fight happens from time to time, so be it. But if you're selling violence, I think you've got to sell violence when it comes to body checking, and I think you got to sell violence in terms of clean body checking without headshots and concussions, because I'm not sure that is something. I'm not sure that is something that's going to be good for a league or good for the marketing effort. We have to pull this sport out of the mindset of marketing slapshot, and all sort of adjacent narratives to that era of hockey. It's got to be forward looking, not what has worked in the past for us. Let's bring that back. We need new vision. We need new leadership, in my view, to keep marketing and selling this sport in the U.S.
The thing about it, though, is like the idea of the dancing bears, like that's gone. Like these are players. Like Darren Radish and Rasmus Dahlin fought. Okay, like, these are players. This isn't like this person's designated slugger against that person's designated slugger. Okay, now that little thing, whatever that was, is done. Now let's go back and play. Like this is the thing that I always wonder. In an era where everybody can skate and everyone can play make and everyone can shoot and everyone can pass and everyone can do everything, you're a general manager. You say to yourself, so who brings that extra? Find me the guys.
Explain Curtis Douglas. Explain Curtis Douglas to the Vancouver Canucks.
That's right.
Curtis Douglas is there because this is going to be a young roster and they want to make sure that these players aren't taken advantage of and run out of the rink. That is an old story.
Well, no, but Jeff, here's the other thing. Curtis Douglas is also here because they know they're not going to do a lot of winning and they need a sideshow to entertain the
dancing bear's not a bad idea here.
Yeah, exactly.
For the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to Easter egg here.
Sure.
I'm quite proud of today's Easter egg. I think Marek will get it, but as always,
no, you don't know.
You have the assist of Blake Price, who is playing alongside. College free agent season. 3 college free agents all time have scored 1,000 NHL points. Who are they?
Ooh, Adam Oates.
Adam Oates is the all-time leader out of RPI with 1,420 points.
Okay, Adam Oates for sure. Marty St. Louis.
Marty St. Louis with 1,033 points out of the University of Vermont is number 3 on the list.
Troy Stetcher.
God bless Troy Stetcher. Alas, it is not. It's not the pride of Richmond and North Dakota and the Penticton Beast.
I'm going to go to Blake on this one. Who's number 3? I guess Troy Stetcher.
Here are the clues.
Kaiser. No, okay.
Winger. You had mentioned something earlier in the interview that ties in very nicely with this guy, actually, on college free agents.
Not Kunitz.
No. Who did he mention was an
Joel
early
Otto?
pioneer of the college
Badger
free
Bob
agent?
Johnson?
That's right. And this guy most certainly did some scoring for the Calgary Flames, more so than Joel Otto.
God.
American winger. His home neighborhood has a very famous and ominous name.
Was it Bullard?
No, but good shout there. One of the all-time American scorers. Stanley Cup winner with the Calgary Flames.
Joey Mullen.
Very good.
Joey Mullen. Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen, New York.
Yes, great one.
Wow. I have a bonus one.
I have a bonus one too.
4 NHL players are left without a visor. Do you know who they are?
I read this the other day. Jamie
Ryan
Benn.
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Ryan
Jamie
O'Reilly.
Benn, Ryan Reeves, and Eric Goodbranson.
Nope.
Luke Shen.
Nope. You're in the same genre of player. Same genre of player.
Bogosian.
Yes.
Zach Bogosian. That's it.
Yeah.
I think Zach.
Okay.
I think here's one on Zach Bogosian. I think the pairing of Zach Bogosian and Chris Chelios with Atlanta was the largest gap in age between any 2 defenders in the history of the NHL.
Wow.
I could see it.
There you go.
Not many played until whatever Chris did. I cover the 2007 Western Final, Anaheim-Detroit. And we think it was a little bit for show. But Chelios would carry the stationary bike into the sauna when the media was in the...
Oh, yeah, with the garbage
just
bag.
to let everybody... Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's the bonus question.
Yes.
Here's the bonus Easter egg, because we're coming up to Easter, so we need more eggs.
Yeah.
And I will preface this by saying Wayne Gretzky technically wasn't drafted. He would not qualify. And then you get into the Esposito, Howe, and those previous eras, these guys would not qualify. Like the pre-entry draft guys are excluded in this.
Yeah. Okay.
Highest scoring CHL free agent of all time.
Oh, man.
Winger, pugnacious, unique name, had some legal trouble.
Oh, my God.
1,200 NHL points.
1,200?
1,200 NHL points. More than Hull, more than Mahovlich. Very underrated all-time goal scorer. Got to 600.
What? I can't think. I'm out.
Minnesota North Stars.
Minnesota North Stars.
Unique name.
Canadian guy.
Canadian guy from Sarnia. I want to say he played a CHL in London.
Oh, Dino Ciccarelli.
Very
Dino
good.
Ciccarelli. Dino Ciccarelli.
Very good.
Yes. Yes, that London Knights. Dino Ciccarelli. He did get in some trouble. Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
indeed. And
he was the reason. He was the reason, and I have the magazine here somewhere. He was the reason I got into media.
How?
Because I would have been 17, I think, at the time. A 17-year-old or 16-year-old, I can't remember the year. Jeff Marek wrote a letter to the Hockey News. Bob McKenzie would have been the editor-in-chief, and it was published. It was after Dino Ciccarelli attacked Luke Richardson in a Minnesota-Toronto game with his stick. And I can't even remember what the letter was, but I've been a long-time subscriber to the Hockey News. And I remember I'd come home every Thursday, and my mom would say, "It's here," and she would hand me the Hockey News. And
did he publish your letter? He published your letter?
Published my letter. I remember Christian Ruutu was on the cover of that one.
Oh my goodness!
Of that one, yes, very good. By the way, with Chris Chelios, time for a tiny little quick story. You guys may find interesting here. Mike Keenan once told me when we used to work together. Keenan told me about the Savard for Chelios trade. And he said at the last minute, Serge Savard called back and said, this is like after the trade was done, said, my owner insists we need a second round pick too, to make this one happen. And Keenan said, look, you know what? Down the road, we'll throw a second round pick. I can't do that. I can't go back to we can't go back on this one right now. Like, this is done from our point of view. But tell you what, tell your owner, we'll make another trade with Montreal, and I'll throw in a second round pick, and we'll call it a wash. Both managers, before that trade ever happened, got fired. So you can make the argument that Chicago still owes the Montreal Canadiens a second round pick based on the handshake.
Well, they have a lot of them now. Yeah.
Between Keenan and Savard.
There he is. He's
time to cash in Montreal.
He's published in the Hockey News, and you can join him weekdays on the sheet. Jeff Marek. Until next Friday.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, boys.